So here is the end result of a well-played first month. It's a 31st of March. It's what you will be going for if you want to copy my strategy and have a really successful first month. It's a ridiculously successful first month. So first of all, the general concept, the general idea of what I'm going for. I started in North America so that my airplanes are cheaper from the get-go. I need to buy up to 6 airplanes, even in the first month. And so those 2 first airplanes cost me only 140 instead of 200. That's the reason why I'm starting in North America. I saved the money from the very first month. I saved the money from the very beginning, and that money will be very important because this strategy is based upon rushing the laser cannons. The other important part of this strategy is, of course, you build the uplink and build 2 satellites. And the important part of this strategy is you need to have a steam vent kind of on the second level. If you don't, just restart the rookie mission until you do. It's a very important thing if you want to learn, if you want the same rushing strategy that I'm doing. Because the second step of that strategy, because your planes are cheaper, you can have more of them, and you can take your first 2 satellites, put them in Argentina, and put them in Brazil, and then you will have, in the second month, a way cheaper thermo generator. And if you can drop that thermo generator connecting to your fission gen from the first level, connect it on your second level, that is so damn good. That is the most efficient thing you can ever do in terms of money, and that allows you to build more airplanes to defend your satellites on another continent. You will have to split your airplanes between 2 continents, so you will need more of them. I am now building 6. And next month, when I get my income, I will build 2 more. I will transfer most of my planes to South America. I believe I will keep 3 in here and then 5 in here, making it 8 airplanes total. And then I'm gonna build 2 more shortly. So that's my general macro strategy. Go for xenobiology first, so you can get the scientist requests, and then rush for the advanced laser. So alien weaponry, laser, advanced laser after xenobiology. I've got a lot of scientists because I got really lucky with the scientist requests. You can expect to have a little less than that, but still, xenobiology and a lot of requests is important. And then you defend these 3 satellites, you get the money, you get the advanced lasers in the second month, and you can defend your air. And your cheap power source from having South America so early allows you to save the money and build a lot of buildings like the officers training school in the first month. I will get later to why I'm able to do it, and it's incredible that I can. In terms of interceptors, I would say you should have a ratio of 2 Stingrays to 1 Avalanche around the second and third month. In the first month, take 2 Stingrays to 2 Avalanche, I would say, and later just have more Stingrays than Avalanches overall. It may sound a little controversial, but if you look at the exact numbers, Stingray missiles are overall, if you equalize and average out all the UFOs, Stingrays are slightly more efficient than Avalanches. They do decent job still against scouts, and they do incredibly better against the fighters. Also, Stingrays have a higher chance to produce a mission. If you kill an UFO with a Stingray, you have a chance to produce a mission that is higher than with Avalanche, because it deals less damage, more of the alien parts will be salvageable, and there's a higher chance to get a mission, not a bounty. UFO shoot-down missions is the most important thing of the early game RNG, other than rookie stats, I think. So you really want to have missions, not bounties, and you really want to get every kill with Stingrays. That's why you want more Stingrays than you would normally expect. Even scouts, you want to kill them with a Stingray so you can have a maximized effect of getting a mission, not a bounty. Now, I see many people reacting to the officer's training school. So basically what I did with the officer's training school is I chose my highest will rookie, in this case Von Jessenstein, the highest will rookie I could possibly get, and I was just farming that rookie. I was rushing to Corporal. This is my rookie from the first mission, I think, from the rookie mission, and I was taking Von Jessenstein every single time. Even with Von Jessenstein's fatigue, I just took her on every single mission. So that maximized Von Jessenstein's experience to the point where I actually reached Corporal in the first month. It's incredible. Of course, I will change the death counter later, it doesn't matter. Von Jessenstein got basically taken on every single mission, fatigue or not. And that is more efficient than waiting for fatigue to finish, and that is the only reason I could get an officer's training school so early, and that's another really important aspect of my strategy. The sooner you get your commanders, the sooner they will become experienced enough to give you the second level of command, that damage resistance that's so important in the mid game. That damage resistance perk from the second level of command is super important. So I'm basically farming experience on one focused commander to get that. And it's, as you can see, it works. So you can take that strategy and totally implement it in your campaign. So that is the macro strategy. In terms of micro, well, the first thing you do is play the initial first mission with the randomly assigned rookies. When you win, you look for here, and then according to my strategy of the South America rush, you want your steam to be on a second level. This is basically the best case scenario, but here is also okay. Then you build your fission here, and then you have a workshop box here. If it's in the middle, it's a little worse, because it then would block your workshop box. But it's still acceptable, I would say. If it's here, it blocks your satellite uplinks in a really bad way. Here would be okay, you just build your power on this side, and then you will build your officer training school here instead. But you want your steam on the second level. If you don't, restart the rookie mission until you do. Also, if you do have your steam where you like, take a look at your rookie stats. Now, what do you look for with the rookie stats? That's a big thing I learned and experimented with in my playthrough. You can see these guys are named, but I can reload to an earlier save and show you how did it look at the beginning. What have I actually done with my rookies in the beginning, in March 4th.
The situation room. Commander to the situation.
It'll show you what to do with rookies. Now I have 4 designations. Designation crappy, which means no definable features. It's just the worst tier of rookies that you want to ignore until you have no other choice, pretty much. Or just make them into shitty medics that don't rely on anything. Designation Sniper, which is low HP, kinda low mobility as well, really good aim. Designation Trooper means good HP and aim. Trooper is a general concept for Rocketeer, Gunner, Infantry. All 3 of those don't care that much about mobility, will, or defense. They care about HP and they care about aim. So those are troopers. And you want to have some really good troopers. Like, look at this fucking trooper right here and this one. 5 HP, 75 aim. I got really lucky. I farmed this. I had like 15, 20 restarts to get to this. But it's so worth it. If you can get a 5 HP, 15 aim soldier, that's the perfect infantry, the perfect rocketeer, the perfect gunner, best you can possibly imagine. You want some of those. 70 plus aim, 4 plus HP, that's really good. And then 3 HP, that's a sniper. I have some nigh on perfect snipers as well. But some of my crappies became kind of like makeshift snipers. And then I've got a designation runner, which is high HP, high mobility, don't care about aim. And you want some perfect gunners as well. If you don't have a single perfect gunner, perfect runner, I expect you to restart. My perfect runner would be 5 HP, 15 mobility. 514 or 415 is also decent, but you want at least one perfect runner, so you have one perfect guy, one perfect assault for the exalt missions. Like, Ella runner is like acceptable, borderline acceptable, but you really want some 15 mobilities. Here I don't have that many 15 mobility guys, and that kinda was on the borderline of restart, but then I saw how many 75 aims I had, and I just sucked it up. I took the 14 mobilities and I made them my runners, but you want some 15 mobility guys as assaults for your exalt missions. So runners are your engineers. Engineers mostly rely on HP. Engineers must have 5 HP. Mobility is secondary. And then they are your assaults, and for assaults I would argue mobility is more important than HP, because you get your HP leveling up easily, while assaults do not really level up their mobility that easily. And your scouts, those are your runners. And then I have a designation commander for rookies with incredibly high will. You want to take 3 designation commanders from your early roster, handpick them, mark them out, train them as your commanders, take them on every mission. I don't care if they are crappy. Take them on every mission. Their high will pay gigantic dividends if they will be your best commanders by the time you hit the Berserker months, when you need to make several intimidation rolls in one turn, and if you start getting a panic chain from that Berserker, you will die and lose your campaign. That's where you will be very grateful for training up those crappy rookies to be your highest will commanders. Now, my decision to go for commanders this game included infantries with steadfast instead of covering fire, but I could also recommend medics with steadfast instead of revive. Steadfast gives your commanders +5 will, which will really go a long way later on.
To the situation room.
So that's what you do with rookies. You find some perfect troopers and perfect runners. If you don't have them, you restart the first mission until you get good stats. And it does help me, for example, to just designate every rookie from the very beginning. And then when I take rookies on missions, I look through them and I'm like, oh, I could use a sniper in my roster, so let's train up a sniper. And he's already designated, so I know I can take Vyacheslav sniper to go. So that's what I did with my rookies, with my level ups. Now, in terms of my level ups, I'm using the Commander's Choice. It's a mod that allows me to choose every single designation. Now, without the Commander's Choice, this gets a little sketchy, and you can get a perfect trooper, and then he's gonna be a fucking sniper or scout. So that's kind of a shame. So I would recommend you to play with Commander's Choice if you want to have as perfect of a strategy as I do. So that's in terms of level ups, pretty much. And I greatly favor infantry, assault, gunner, engineer, rocketeer, and sniper. I favor the aggressive classes. I take less medics and scouts in the beginning, but still some. So that's what I do in terms of rookies and level ups. I told you about my macro economy. Another thing to say is that your rookies are much more likely to level up when there's a UFO shootdown. What you need to do is make them shoot and kill if you can, but on a UFO shootdown, even if they don't kill, just make them shoot a lot, and they will gain slight amounts of experience for every shot, and they can level up on a UFO shootdown from with no kills, because there is a higher base XP for just finishing the mission. Whereas on abduction missions, you need to make sure that every rookie gets a kill. That is the most efficient way to play. Memorize every rookie that has a kill, have a notepad, write him down if you have to, but make sure every rookie levels up, because you really don't want to have a shitty rookie twice, okay? You just want him once, so make sure it actually works. Arraconator, I don't have a problem with inappropriate classes to my rookies, because I'm playing with Commander's Choice mod. Commander's Choice mod allows you to choose whichever class you want. I think that is a more fair and strategic way to play the game. I think it's a superior way to play the game, way more enjoyable. I never want to feel resentment towards Xcom for screwing me over with something that I couldn't do anything about. I want to minimize that. So I installed the Commander's Choice mod, because the worst thing to do is just kill your passion for XCOM. So, for me, it works beautifully, and it's still a challenging game. You've seen what they did to me, but I think Commander's Choice increases the enjoyment while still keeping it hardcore. So you should totally check it out, in my opinion. If there's anything else you need to know about the early game, ask now, and it will be included in the tutorial video. How do I win the air game? I always seem to never have enough aircraft or balance research between the air and ground. Garador, what I do is I rush for advanced laser as fast as humanly possible. I support 10 aircrafts for 3 satellites, so it's a little higher than 3 aircrafts per satellite. I never attack an airplane that is marked as on NOE height, that is about to land, and it's NOE, which is nap of the earth. Never attack those, don't waste your aircrafts, let them land. Others, fight the best you can having 10 aircraft for the early game, and then instead of building more aircraft, build like 3 or 4 laser cannons the moment you can rush for them. So go xenobiology, alien weapon materials, and alien weapons, and then lasers, advanced lasers, and then get alien materials. That's the build order I go for. That's the build order with which I could hold my air on the Impossible Iron Man campaign. So it worked for me. You just need to rush the laser cannons, and admit to yourself that sometimes you will actually fail. So in the mid game, I had some spare money. I always had 1 spare satellite in my inventory, so that even though I lose my satellite to something I can do nothing about, I will just rebuild that satellite. I can just resend that satellite up and rebuild my spare one. Never lose my bonus at the end of the month. It is compatible for Long War. You find it on Nexus mods. It will be included in Beta 15 as a second wave option. So the Long War modders acknowledge it as a very legitimate way to play. And you can find it on Nexus mods. It will require the modding GUI to install. But if I figured it out, you're at least as smart as me in terms of modding, I would expect. I mean, I'm just a gamer, like you. You should be able to figure it out with the instructions provided in Nexus mods. Is UFO countermeasures from Seeker Autopsy worth going for early? Aurelius, in my opinion, rushing for advanced laser is more important than rushing for UFO countermeasures. But do make sure you get it. Maybe even before Carapace, maybe after Carapace, I'm not sure. You'd have to judge for yourself. I think laser cannons are far superior to UFO countermeasures, because with the laser cannons, you can fight on defensive, so you have your aim bonus just the same, and you still deal more damage. It's just the superior option in my opinion. But yes, you will need those countermeasures in the mid-game. In the early game, laser cannons are fine. Also, make sure to stack up kills on the aircraft. Many people say this, but I believe it's a better idea to level up a few of your aircrafts with most of your kills, so you can have some really clutch, reliable aircraft to fall back on if something serious happens. Also, as I said before, make sure your kills happen with Stingrays to have a maximum chance of a mission instead of a bounty. If there's any questions, this is the last chance for you to ask. After this, I will proceed with my restart of the campaign. And this video will find its way to YouTube and be linked to anyone who wants to learn about the early game. Hope it helps. Are interrogations for the science boost worth going out of the way for? Interrogations are important for both science boost and to unlock the requests. You want to get the requests and get the soldiers from those requests. It's an incredible reward. So I do get my interrogations very early, as early as I can most of the time. Not as much for a science boost as much, but also for the requests that can give me soldiers. I actually delayed my aerospace concepts quite a lot, Arachnator. It was way later than Carapace. The reason for that is that those are really expensive upgrades. The research itself doesn't give me much. The upgrades are extremely expensive, and what I found from my personal experience, yours may be different, but from my personal experience, I can totally hold my air all the way until mech if I just have like 10 laser cannons and 3 or 4 satellites. Those laser cannons themselves can handle it. I later on, when I get Gauss, build 2 more Phoenix call guns. I'm not sure if that's a good idea, it requires more testing for me to say, but lasers and UFO countermeasures are letting me hold my air no problem. So I favor carapace and ammo conservation over the very expensive aerospace concepts. But it may be viable. I didn't find myself needing it, so why not invest in ground earlier? Those who just joined, I'm restarting because the aliens were too far ahead. I started meeting groups of heavy floaters on abductions and lost one of my most experienced soldiers with the equipment and everything. I had to run away from an abduction, and I got my ass kicked. And there was nothing but more ass kicking left for me in the future. And look what I found here. Look at this. An alien cat? Oh no! Oh no, it's an alien cat! Quickly, we need some lasers. I hope I set my camera right. I don't really have a preview right now. But a cat exists. Oh yeah, I did it right. Look at that. Look at it's the fattest cat in the universe, and it really doesn't enjoy being here. It will bolt the first moment it gets. Yeah, there you go. So that's as far as the early game. I will be changing this strategy on Beta 15, and I promise you a new playthrough in Beta 15 with a new strategy for me to figure out. Freedom for the cat! Freedom! And in terms of rushing for Psionics, I am like 99% sure that strategy is absolute shit. The psionic testing and progression takes such a long time. It's like, you know, you rush for something really slow. From my previous RTS experience, it makes no sense. We can't have a cat cam, Llama Lord, more than what I've shown you, because the cat gets very impatient and bolty whenever I attempt that, so there's just no way to hold him in place for a longer time. And now that we got this out of the way, and hopefully the early game people are happy enough,